Hey, welcome back in. Corey Terramana here with you. I wanted to bring you into the office for these next 3 videos. This video is going to be on how I reduced my motor, which are visual tics, and my audible, which are vocal tics. Now, these are also going to apply. I'm going to talk about what's called the 4 pillars. These are how I've brought myself relief and a handful of other people the same results. These also work if you have some version of OCD, ADD, and some depression and a couple things like that, anxiety and stress challenges. Now, first thing I have to say is we are not doctors, okay, or psychologists. Please maintain any medications you're already on and your supervised doctor visits. Okay, maintain everything first. Okay, just watch these, and come in under entertainment purposes, just to see what we're doing. See, we're not doctors, okay? I'm a coach. And I'm someone that is sharing what's been working for me. So 28 years ago, and again, you may be a parent of someone who struggles with these, or you yourself are struggling and you're looking for answers and some relief. If that's the case, let's rock and roll. 28 years ago, I was diagnosed with Tourette's. Now, it was moderate at the time. I've been on a hell of a pathway up until now, all right? And I've been looking every direction for solutions, but it started out with the doctors and the medications, right? Like I told you in that first video, the medications zonked me out, all right? I felt like a zombie walking around. And then the other medications, which were the uppers for ADD, they made me feel like bad, way too sped up. All right, so none of that really worked. And here I was sitting there suffering, hesitant to go out, hesitant to interact with people, really isolating and just suffering from feeling so strange, I wanted to call this class of one of these programs I teach, School of Strange, because that's how I felt, and it's likely how you feel. But you're going to see, especially in video number 2, that you don't have to feel that way. We're going to actually use all this discomfort, all this challenge for a positive. And you're going to be shocked when it actually locks in for you and you're like, wait a second, I got a gift here. Now I'm going to start to use it. 28 years ago, doctor's medications, they didn't really work for me, all right? The antidepressants, all that stuff, not for me personally. Now maybe you. And then all through school, we tried sports, and that helped. I liked active. In fact, being active and the proper exercise at the right time is one of the pillars, and I'm going to go through those a little bit later on. Now, just so you know, at any time, and I just prefer you watch all these videos first so that when we do get on the phone and talk, you'll know a little bit more about what we do and why. So there is a phone number at the top of this video, on the top of this page, and you can call our office directly, and we'll see if what we have is a good match for you. Like I said, I haven't worked, and it's a little bit out of my scope for severe tics and Tourette's, okay? Anything moderate and below, I've got experience with, I've got a lot of experience with, and you may be able to find some relief. But I'll get more into the programs that I teach and run and stuff like that later on. But let's talk about this so you can use some of this and put it to work, right? So that was the doctor's meds. Then second, I tried self-medicating, right? With cannabis and nicotine and alcohol and all sorts of things. All right? I really tried anything to escape from the pain, thinking that it would help me out. Now, it didn't really help me out. In fact, it compounded on problems, especially through college and my career and my relationships. So adding in lots of drugs and substances doesn't really do it, okay? And foods and junk foods, that was a lot of my problems during grade school. All right, so from 9 years old all the way up to about 15 years old, my diet was terrible. I was drinking multiple sodas a day, fast food, fried foods, tons of carbohydrates. I was going into a carbohydrate coma all the time, and I just didn't know any better, So that wasn't working. Self-medicating wasn't working. Now, as years have gone on, CBD has been known to help, and it's actually helped me out quite a bit just these past couple years. Another conversation for maybe a 4th video or something like that. However, these 4 pillars I'm going to go into, They're going to be all natural ways and things that you can start doing to relieve yourself of these symptoms, reduce them, all right? Some of these we can't get rid of. I'm at peace with that, all right? Some we can, all right, by working the 4 pillars really hard, all right? But you got to dig down deep inside, and you're going to have to get support from your family. You're going to have to get some discipline, but I'm going to show you how to do all that, all right? And then the third part of my journey after self-medication didn't work, then I went into personal development, and I said to myself, I said, all right, there's got to be some things I can do to relieve my body, to reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety, give my body the proper nutrients and sleep and exercise that I need so that I'm not in an imbalance, all right? Because our lives and our symptoms are challenging enough, all right? And then when we start throwing our body out of whack, you know, and really adding to the imbalances, then it gets to be completely uncontrollable and it feels at times hopeless. So I've been there, okay? I've wanted to just disappear. I really have. I wanted to just call it, check please, thank you, I'm good on this life. Maybe I'll get another one, you know, or maybe the next place will be a little bit better, you know, but that does all of us a disservice, right? And I'm going to hopefully show you a couple ways to feel better, you know, reduce your tics, and, you know, continue with me on this journey. Because remember, these aren't short-term fixes. Some are short-term fixes, but what we're doing together, it's a long-term thing. It's almost a lifestyle shift, and it's really a mental shift after that. So the first, you know, things that we're going to do, and I'm going to tell you about, you know, you're going to do them on the spot. They're going to instantly relieve some symptoms, okay? And we're going to do some tics, reduce some tics. And then overall, as we keep going on, we're going to work with the emotions and the feelings that we have so that, look, the tics that I have left, all right, my 4 pillars, over time, may end up eliminating a large, if not all of them. But until then, I'm going to be at peace deep down on the inside with what's left, okay? I'm going to move from, and I've been moving there, from something's wrong with me to something special about me, okay? A lot of this is going to come down to how we can reframe our lives and what we think of ourselves and what we do with the feelings and the emotions once they come up and we feel them, okay? There's a way, excuse me, there's a way to continue digging down deeper in the sinkhole of poor me, you know, this ain't ever gonna get fixed, you know, everyone's making fun of me, laughing at me, treating me this, I feel so strange. Like, we can take that down into the gutter as far as you want, all right? I've been down there. Bad. And then we can shift it though, and we can start building things that put us in a positive state. A little bit of happy-go-lucky, a little bit of, hey, I'm accepting, you know? And so this is going to be a bit of a transformation journey. So when it comes to personal development, I've been doing it for roughly 25 years, and then I started teaching it about 15 years ago. However, I made a little list here that is so extensive, I have to read it to you just so you understand how far I've been on this to handle it. Okay, so I started out with anything that had to deal with spiritual. All right, I figured maybe I can get closer to God and, you know, He'll relieve some of this from me. All right, went into, studied all the different religions, all the spirituality stuff, did sweat lodges with the Native Americans. I did rites of passage ceremonies, men's teams, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to all the support teams and groups out there in search of spiritual connection. I've done a lot of emotional work, from laugh therapy, cry therapy, gestalt therapy, they call them. I've done a lot of the mental stuff, which we're going to go into more. That is actually one of the 4 pillars. Social training. There were times where I would go do social experiments, and I'm going to give you a lot of the results that I found as far as, you know, how can I interact with people in a powerful way so that, you know, I'm bringing real confidence, I'm having real conversations with people, I'm making real friends, and I don't have to be fearful to go out in public, you know? How do I reduce that anxiety down? Shouldn't be paying attention to my phone over there ringing right now. And physical development. All right, so I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. We need physical exercise. However, there's a caveat to this. Not all physical exercise is created equal. So when we work with individuals, possibly like you, in our programs, we not only go through proper dieting and nutrition with our licensed therapist. All right, I put that on someone else, even though I know everything about it because I've been through every single diet and I found a lot of relief on just my diet alone. Believe me, there was a time I lived in California and I got to hang out with all the hippies and all the farmers and the people who knew foods very well, Chinese herbalists, and I went vegan. And then I didn't learn you had to supplement other supplements with vegan stuff. That didn't work for me, okay? I went into the blood type diet. I went into vegetarian only. And then I went paleo, and I went meats only and proteins only. It's just like I tried everything. I tried eating mono foods for weeks at a time. Well, actually, 3-day chunks at a time. I'd eat one food to test. Maybe it's an allergy, I used to think. Because again, doctors didn't know how to fix me. And I had to figure out how to fix me, or at least get better and then feel better about what I'm left with. So dieting and nutrition, I'm a firm believer of that. But I was talking about physical exercise first. So all physical exercise is not the same. And depending on the tics that you have, or the level of ADHD or OCD or depression you have, you're gonna find your mixture. Okay, if you come in and work with us, or if you just pay super duper attention to these, you'll find your mixture. For instance, what do I do now? Like, I don't go and hit the weights every day. I don't need all that. What I need is grounding and balancing. I need something that's going to integrate spiritual connection, something that's going to clear my mind, something that's going to get me out of my head from thinking and into my body. So what do I use? I use walking, meditative walks. I use yoga. I use Tai Chi. I use swimming. So, and then a couple more I'll share with you a little bit later on, a certain type of martial arts that really helps me. It gives me confidence too. So most of the things we're going to talk about, there's multiple reasons for doing them. And there's multiple benefits. Exercise ain't just about exercise, Reason why it's a whole pillar on its own is because, it lets us get a little bit of energy out. Oftentimes, many of us are, we get stagnant. Believe me, there were days where I worked months at a time and didn't leave the office. I sat in this chair all the time. In fact, I even came up with a training course of how to do yoga in your chair or your bed. By the way, I've created about 40, maybe more, online digital training products for personal development, business development for entrepreneurs. So I've created a lot of things as the solutions to my problems. So I'd have a problem, I'd go learn everything about it, hire all the coaches I could, get all the consultants in that I possibly could. Well, in business later. But, and then I'd end up creating something and teaching it to people, because then I'd understand it more. And you'll see one of the programs, one of the groups we have, we teach each other. It's really powerful. It's one of the things I found to actually integrate something into our lives. It's one thing to learn it and watch this video, but that's another thing for you to do it, test with it, and then teach us on your results. So that's, one of the things that we do when we work together. Let me get back to this list. All right, it's kind of comprehensive here. I did a lot of childhood regression therapy. So as we got deeper into searching for the problems, 16 minutes already, I assumed, and even doctors said, there was some traumatic event when I was younger, right? That created a PTSD, which switched something in my mind to start acting a certain way and caused my body to have these tics. There's times where I get triggered from things that happened when I was a child, okay? But that's not the root cause of this. And in the book that I wrote, Living with Tourette's, there's a lot of explanations on why do we have this? Why did it start? How do we shift it? So download that book and check it out. So a lot of childhood regression therapy. Meditation is a powerful one. Now, I started meditating when I was 11 years old, and it was very hard to do because I couldn't stand still. I was shaking my head nonstop, fidgeting. I mean, it was really, really bad. So that was a discipline all in its own. I've studied transcendental meditation, creative meditations, guided visualizations, which I'm going to do quite a few guided visualizations for you to help us, go deep inside, beyond just the body. All right, so our body will be freaking out. I get it. But deep down inside, like on a soul and even mental level, we can get still and we can get clarity and we can get relief from that place, which is always there. I'm going to also go into teaching you a lot about breathing. So a lot of my vocal tics, they were audible, okay? And they were humming and making noises and singing songs. And then you mix that with the OCD and the ADD, and I'd be making graphs inside my mind and singing hums and shit. Just strange. Again, school strange, welcome. Anything to relieve that. Let me just address this. So a lot of times when you're feeling the urge and your body ticks, there's almost like a sense of relief. For instance, in my eyes or something like that, when I do my tic, it brings me a sense of relief, right? So I've been working on ways to shortcut the bulk of them. And about the only one I have left is in my eyes. Work in progress. It's all good. And a couple vocal ones, but no one can really tell because I've learned and I've studied how to talk. I've went to speech therapists. Oh yeah. I had terrible lisp. Terrible. And I hired therapists to help me speak. Couldn't say R's, T's, S's. Oh, on top of that, learning disabilities. I got a little bit of dyslexia, which caused me to be a C student for a lot of my life until later on in college when I learned how to study and I learned how to focus my mind in the midst of having all these, distractions and struggles. There's a way to do a lot of different things. We just got to plug into the people who know them and who've been testing them and practicing them, which is me. And I'm going to bring others in to work with you too. But, there's a way around a lot of stuff, Let's see what else. Meditation, visualization, yoga, Tai Chi, Reiki. So I went into Reiki healing. I said, hey, maybe I just got to heal myself, So I went and got certified in Reiki 1, 2, and 3, and even 4 and 5, which no one even knows about. I won't go into that right now, but that was powerful. That showed me a lot of energy work and how to balance my energy. See, my biggest breakthrough I had when I was about 18 years old was I discovered that my energy in my body, and without getting into some pretty deep stuff, the body has meridians. Okay, it's got power zones and chakras and areas that hold more energy and need to flow the energy. Okay, so when I learned how to properly flow the energy through my body back into the earth and back up to the sky, I'm trying not to go too far out here on the limb with you, but there's something to managing our energy and learning about this, okay? But that's why I've got whole programs, and it's like, it's a regimen. It's stuff we do, and we have fun with it, okay? Because, well, it's the only real interesting thing that is on my radar. What else? Karate, yeah, Wang Chun. I did something, so those martial arts, those help. Those are cool. Cranial sacral work, right? Balancing my spine. I was like, well, maybe some nerves and shit are jammed up in the spinal column and something like that. Let me go and learn this stuff and get certain types of massages to maybe free something up. I tried everything. I still will, 'cause it's all work. Sports, and we're going to get back into physical exercise and activity. The biggest thing that's really worked is stress reduction techniques. There's ways to use exercises and tools, which we'll go into in later videos, to reduce our stress. Stress tends to be something that accelerates our tics and brings them right up to the surface. Same with anxiety. I would sing. I went in and I learned how to sing. I learned how to, maybe it's like the vocal tics, right? I had to find my voice. I said, maybe there's something wrong with my voice, and I just got to learn how to clear the blockage, start articulating words, start getting into rhythm, and tap into spirit through singing. Cool. Helped a little. Dance. I learned how to dance. All types of dance. Free flow dance. I dance in the shower. I sing in the shower all the time because it just brings me relief. More on this. And then I've attended over 30 personal development workshops and events, weekend events. Like truly throwing down in a room full of people I did not know. Like, here, teach me. I'm playing ball. Let's go. Those helped a lot. I learned a lot of stuff about myself, and why I think the way I do, how to motivate myself, how to get inspiration when I feel like dog shit, or how to pull out of depression when a couple hours have gone by and I just don't want to get out of bed. I got tools for how to get out and get into action. I got resources. I got teams of people I can call to help lift me out. And we'll get into all that too. What else have we got in here? Dieting, most nutrition. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just keep it like this. So a little bit on the 4 pillars. And before we go into the next video, not too long. You got time, right? This is important. So what brought about the 4 pillars was I put together a method, and this has been over about the past 18 years, where I started making notes and putting something into a way that I could follow myself consistently for life. So think of it like this. We're not looking for a short-term solution. Even though I'm going to show you how to hide your tics, how to reduce them instantly with just a simple breath, or even meditation, or the right foods, or the right exercise activities, or breathing patterns, then we're short-term. But here's the thing. What I'm going to help you go through and work with and work through is it's long-term stuff. So shift your mind as to, I'm going to show you things that you can use for the rest of your life, because likely, if you're anything like me, you got some Tourettes, you got some tics. You may be a little ADD, right? A little hyperactive, you have trouble focusing. You may have OCD, right? I get it. I'm a very similar way. There was a time where I would have shot this video. There was a time where I wouldn't have shot this video. But then shortly after that, I would have shot it 5 to 6 times because it wasn't good enough, or there was something in the background. And then, boy, when I learned how to let that go and let that be, big, super big. And we're not going to go into all I could talk about depression and anxiety and social stuff a whole lot. But in video number 3 now, we go into how to really be rock solid in social scenes. How to walk into a room full of people, even if your Tourette's and everything's all kicking up and flared up and full duty, and still go operate and either do what you need to do, right? Grocery store, I could tell you times that I didn't even get out of the car. I went to grocery stores, super duper self-conscious. Didn't even get out of the car. Just put it back in drive after 15 minutes of waiting there. This was before I had the power of circles. I could just call someone and go, hey, I'm stuck. What do you need? I'm at the grocery store. I gotta go shop. I don't want to go. Before I had those types of resources, I missed out on a lot of things, and I wasn't able to do a lot of things. And, I'm just so glad I'm at peace now being able to share these with you. So back to the 4 pillars. It's my way of, so here's what I have got. Video chat teams that we work with. I've got Marco Polo teams, which we use daily video conferencing on our phone, to where we're in relationship with each other and we're talking about the problems we're having, how we feel about them, and we all share our solutions and encouragement. It's about, support and team building. So we got video chat rooms on Zoom weekly, and we've got Marco Polo access to each other daily. And then I've got, a mastery course on this. If you're super duper serious and you're like, hey, I'm in, man, let's rock and roll, and then I'll put you in a 2 or a 3-month program with us. I call Life Map. But what we teach are the 4 pillars. Now, what do the 4 pillars consist of? The first pillar is coaching and group support. All right. So beyond the other 3 pillars that we're going to go through, they all have to work together, okay? But there is an element where we have to get on with other people in similar situations as us. And we have to have a safe place to show up authentically. Now, most people show up on video, okay? Even if it's uncomfortable or challenging, it's okay. Because I manage the room, all right? I'm the facilitator. And there's no hanky-panky in my rooms, It's nice and tight and trusting and safe, or people get kicked out. But I've never had to kick anybody out yet. Not in this one. I run other men's circles, like men-only leadership type stuff. I've had to kick men out for those, but not here. When we show up to this, everyone's pretty serious. We're ready to rock and roll. We're being humble, we're being coachable, we're being supportable, and we're there to help. The other great part about this, that's why it's the number one pillar, is we're there for support. But as we go through our struggles from day to day and even week to week, others are learning. All right, so you may not think you have anything to contribute to someone. You do, okay? Just you being brave, saying what's true for you, talking about what's going on inside you, and just being present and there with us. You're helping and you're training others, and it is a magical process. That's why this is all I do. I can do whatever I want in this world. This is what I keep coming back to. So we learn how to support each other. Now, during those, again, these are all in pillar one, is group support and coaching. We work on exercises. Now, I have pieces of technology, which are little exercises we do, little tools. Sometimes it's on paper. Sometimes it's visualizing certain things and, reporting back to us or doing it live. And I'm not going to go into all those. You can call us if you want, and the number's up at the top, and we'll run through a lot of that with you. But pillar one, it's all about group coaching and support. Okay. And then part of that goes with the Marco Polos. We use Marco Polo. It's really nice. So it doesn't matter how jammed up you get during the day or the week. You can get right on there and you can watch other people's, or you can make a post and go, hey, here's what I'm thinking, or here's how I feel about myself, or this is what's wrong right now. And we can reply directly to you. So basically 24 hours a day, you can have access to us and real good support. God, when I learned about that 3 years ago, wow, what a game changer. I put it into all my trainings and programs. Okay, so that was a good amount on pillar one, and we still got more we can talk about on the phone if you need. Pillar number two. Okay, so now we go into creating nutritional balance for sustainable energy. So I study a lot from the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control. They put out a lot of statistics on our conditions, and what they say is there's a direct correlation between our diets, our moods, and how good or bad our tic symptoms show up. So what we do is we focus on finding the right mixture of foods to help balance out our energy. A lot of times when we ingest certain foods or certain drinks, it puts us back to square one. That's the truth of it. So, what I tell everyone when we get them on the phone before we register them in for our programs is, you got to be ready to make a couple changes. Now, the good news is that oftentimes we can make one little tiny change and then notice the difference. So we don't have to go overhauling our whole entire diets and all that sort of stuff. Just like on the third pillar we're going to get into with physical activity, you don't have to go running marathons, or sitting through a whole yoga class. Sometimes though we add one little thing, we subtract one little thing, we see how it works. Then we write down our results and we log all of our stuff. So we have notes and we make another little shift. So, we make baby adjustments. That way, back to the first thing is they can be long-term lifestyle changes. And then you add all of them up together, and you look back and you're like, pretty good. I feel better, My visible symptoms are gone. My audible symptoms, they're, gone to the side a little bit. All right, cool. So that's the dieting, and we'll handle that later on. Third pillar is going to be physical activity and physical exercise. Some of us, we just need to burn off our energy, Some others of us, we need to use it for a different purpose. Like I said, me, I need it to connect in spiritually, clean my mind, and yeah, exercise my body. Why I go towards yoga is because it's a really spiritual experience, and I like that. It creates a lot of flexibility, which means, when I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, my bones and everything will be, a little bit more flexible, and my muscles will be developed in a different way, as if I were just doing bench presses all day and squats, or long distance marathon running. So I go for longevity, wellness, and flexibility. So something as simple as a walk. Like yesterday, that was all I did. I went for about a 5-6 mile walk. But again, I've been building up to that. And while I'm doing that, guess what I get to do? I get to breathe. I get to count the breaths in, count the exhales out, think of a positive thought. And I got all these little tools I use, and I'm going to share with you. But they add up and they make a great difference. So that's about pillar 3. And pillar 4 is where I get to bring, this 28 years, 25 years of personal development training here. So there's a lot of tips and tools we use to keep our minds right. And there's a lot of ways that we vent when we need to vent. Because it can be really frustrating, and it's like things aren't always easy on the mental part of this. And so we give that time and attention, and we focus on it. And that's the whole pillar 4, is how to think more positively, how to shift our situation mentally. Because remember this, at the end of the day, the only thing we can really change is what? It's our attitude. And how we shift our attitude, it means a lot. Thinking certain thoughts again and again can create physical symptoms. That is 100% the truth. Someone can think themselves into physical peril. They can. And we can think ourselves into better living, better relationships. And there comes a point where, we align everything in our life with the man or woman we want to be. And it happens in between the ears. At times we can be our worst critics. And I know that. I beat myself up for long periods of time before I knew how to befriend myself, treat myself well, accept the things in my life and about my body that were just the way they are. And then just letting that relief go helped a lot, helped so much. So please feel free, go down to video number 2 and video number 3 down below and watch those. Those are really important. And when you're done with those, go ahead and call our office. If this is something that you enjoyed and you think you have something to gain from getting into one of our programs or working with us, just call us up, and we'd love to hear about your situation, talk to you a little bit, and just see if there's a good fit between us. So again, thank you so much. I know this went on a little long. I did my best. There's a lot to talk about. There just is. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll get to work with you. All righty, bye.